All right, this is Mid-Atlantic weather update. I think the main focus really is going to have to be on Dorian, since we have to understand what it's going to do to the Mid-Atlantic region. And so I wanted to take some time and review that. I'm actually out on Mid-Atlantic Weather's website, just going to scroll through the main screen here. Had to readjust here. So, I mean, in general, this morning, Dorian has just exploded again. So you got to think of where we were 2 days ago. 2 days ago, the storm really organized itself, got it together, went through a rapid intensification, and got itself all the way up to Category 4. It kind of held that for quite a long time. And then overnight, we saw the pressure just continue to drop down. It's down to a very low, if you know anything about weather, 922 millibars. Super powerful storm. Is it done yet, strengthening? I don't know. Its winds took a while to catch up to how low the pressure gotten. And so earlier, just a little bit ago at 10 a.m., the storm appears to have had a wind increase this morning up to 175 mile per hour estimate, maintaining or sustained winds. And there are gusts in the drop zone showing over 200 mile per hour wind gusts. So it is just devastating. You have to know that people in the Bahamas are going to get pummeled by such a strong storm. The only small, ever so small saving grace on this is that the northeast quadrant, which is the worst part of a hurricane, is going to stay just probably on the northern part of what the Bahamas are going to get. I'm not saying this is good news. It's only moving at 8 miles per hour. You can imagine they're going to get prolonged winds in the tornado-like wind speeds of at least an F1 to an F3 intensity, and at 8 mile per hour movement over a very large area. It's just horrible. And storm surge is going to be bad. It's going to be bad news in general. I think at this point, too, it's good to note that the tropical storm force winds do look like they'll make it to the shore here of Florida. I'm starting to wonder whether or not we're going to see it turn fast enough so that they don't see at least some hurricane force winds. I definitely think they'll see gusts along the hurricane force along the coast. And, of course, we'll have storm surge. When a storm approaches this slow for this long, it's going to push a lot of water in front of it. It's had a long time to push that water in front of it and kind of build the storm surge. So I am strongly expecting that we're going to see a big storm surge impact along the southeast coast, along Florida, and then up into the Carolinas as this thing moves, as it moves north. And we got to hope that it does turn, because the sooner it turns, the better. And it needs to turn and go out to sea, honestly. That would be the best deal. So this was earlier. It's showing the National Hurricane Center. At that time, it was 160 mile per hour winds. But the barometric pressure, I believe at that point, was 927 millibars. 2 hours later, they measured, and it was 922 millibars. That's another 5 millibar drop in a very short period of time. That's a big drop. So just a very serious storm. And again, this is the projected track. You can see it moving up close to the coast, but it never comes on shore. It is close enough, though, to impact areas along the Carolinas all the way up to Virginia. This shows kind of a long-term hurricane model tracking. I think it's good to just show that. Probably should move this up. It's kind of funny that you can see my toolbar. But you're seeing the curvature that keeps being forecast here by a lot of the hurricane models. And then we see also kind of later tracks, the longer term tracks here. And then once it curves out, it just accelerates northeast out into the Atlantic. So the images just remain just amazing here. This storm is very symmetrical, very strong. I don't see how or what could slow it down. Maybe some interactions with the islands, just something to disrupt it. The eye wall itself, during these really, really powerful storms, sometimes go through what's called an eye wall replacement cycle, which can disrupt its strength and its power. I haven't seen anything like that. The radars that show out of Bahamas just showed one symmetrical eye wall and no chance of really any disruptions. You have to see, I mean, storms this powerful for that long period of time do tend to just get disrupted just because of things you just don't see. So let's hope it gets disrupted as well, though sometimes a disruption can cause it to grow. So we'll see. And here is it visible as the sun was coming up, how you can see just this very, very powerful storm. What does it mean really for our region? So the first graphic here, I'm just showing the rain as it comes up into the Carolinas. There are indications of quite a bit of rain. I mean, especially as you get up to the Carolinas, up into the 5 to 10 inch range, and then along the coastal plains, maybe 2 to 4, and then not too far inland, and up to a little past 95 area, in the middle parts of the state, getting much less. Obviously, any band you get into can produce a lot more rain than you expect. We also have to worry about some severe weather as well, some wind gusts in those bands as they come on shore, and coastal flooding is just going to be an issue from here all the way up into Chesapeake Bay next week. Here's just a more generic kind of paintbrush of that same information showing you the expected rainfall output. Again, I mean, some of these regions have been dry. You just don't want to get all that rain in one shot, and that's a lot. You see some 10 to 15 inch estimations here in the southeast North Carolina. So, a lot to watch. I wouldn't say anything that's out of the realm of possibility along the East Coast, so we need to watch out. For impacts, rain, some winds, definitely some coastal flooding are going to be the big things that we see, and we just got to hope that it stays offshore. And by the way, I mean, a storm that comes up here, I suspect it will weaken. The National Hurricane Center also shows it weakening. Don't let that fool you. I mean, this storm has been around for a long time. As I mentioned before, it's going to push a lot of water in front of it. The longer it's had over the water, the slower it moves, the bigger the impact is going to be, because it has a longer time to fetch the water and push it into areas. And even at low tide, you're going to see big flooding. And it's a big deal here. And just to give you kind of a better visual maybe of where those tracks look like, Category 5 is where it is today. It will weaken ever so slightly down to a Category 4. We're talking winds like in the 150, 140 mile per hour wind range here. Then down to Category 3, we're talking about under 130 mile per hour winds. Category 2, still a powerful storm, something to be reckoned with. And then maybe down to a Category 1 here as it goes off the East Coast. So that's kind of the forecast. And again, this line shifting doesn't have to shift much before those winds get on to the east coast of Florida. And of course, as it gets up here, surprise, surprise, to the east coast of North Carolina, it's prone to getting these types of storms. There's a chance that we'll see that come on there. Now, again, this is the update a while back. We'll see an update coming up here in about 30 minutes to show us the higher winds of 170 mile per hour. So, really crazy. I just, you don't see storms like this very often. And my last map here, again, just focusing again on the rain potential. As you can see, once you get away from the coast, the rain drops off fairly quickly. And we're seeing the 1, 2, and 3 to 5 to even much heavier as we get towards the coast, 8, 9, 10 inches of rain. So it is something we've got to watch. Remember, as this storm goes up, we're getting the onshore flow. That onshore flow is going to push up into the bay. We should see some coastal flooding all up along the New England coast, and just getting worse as you get the storm closer to the coast. So anyway, that's it. That was a long-winded update on Dorian, but it just kind of tells you where we are at this point, the track that's expected. There'll be an update in 30 minutes. And anyway, stay vigilant, especially if you're along the coast. Get inland, do your planning. States of emergency are declared from North Carolina southward because of the storm's impact. I suspect Virginia may get that as well because of the need to prepare along the coast and the uncertainty of the track. That is it for now. We'll probably have another update because it's a pretty hot topic. Talk to you soon.